Grace and peace on the 4th of July. You might notice I'm wearing a tie-dye t-shirt, not my usual attire. We just finished doing some recording for Compassion Camp, which will come to you on July 12th for the first session. That has nothing to do with Sovereignty Week. Sovereignty Week, as it is wrapping up this week, has been a journey for me. I was looking up wonderful quotes for Sovereignty Week. Didn't find a lot of anything that I liked. But I did like the one from Martin Luther. Martin Luther said that, under sovereignty, that prayer is not overcoming God's reluctance, but rather laying hold of God's willingness. That works for me. In the first video, I was talking about sovereignty, that rule of God. And when a dictionary definition has to do with God's absolute authority to do anything, all things, that power, right? Absolute cosmic power. Itty bitty living space. That would be an Aladdin quote. That absolute power. However, in the nature of God, to not necessarily exercise that absolute power, as in to come down and move every little thing around as if we're chess pieces. I know that for some folks I have spoken with, that's part of an issue for understanding the sovereignty of God. If God has this absolute power, why is God not exercising that power? Why is there not more of this direct intervening and making things right? Why? Why is there not just a movement of good and stopping evil and coming down? I think of it in this way. If sovereignty is like kingship and queenship, a ruler, I try to imagine, so you have an earthly ruler, even though, of course, to compare the Almighty to a limited human being. But in this moment, okay, think about it. If you have one human earthly ruler, let's say the Queen. If you have the Queen of England, if you're making that woman run around and make every rule come into being, if that person, that queen, has to arrest all the criminals, if that woman has to make every single law be followed, it just simply wouldn't happen. A ruler, a queen, the Queen of England, has parliament, has guards, has a police force, has all of these other folks. One ruler, one king, one queen doesn't do every little aspect. There are servants or stewards, if you will. It must be that whoever the sovereign is has to have some kind of help, or if doesn't have to, might, because of the nature of the sovereign, might choose to have stewards. Because how much more meaningful is it when those who are under the authority choose to follow those rules or to help enact compassion and kindness and love? How much more meaningful is it when those under the rule of the sovereign work together for good, for those who love the sovereign or God, according to God's purpose. Romans 8:28. How much more powerful is it when all of us who understand the sovereign work for the good of the sovereign, so that when we understand that that sovereign or that King of glory, when that one comes, we can rejoice all the more. How much more powerful is that? It's a beautiful, beautiful thing when the King of glory comes, when the sovereign comes, in person or in our hearts and in our minds, in our being. May we rejoice and may we work for good, we who love the Lord. Amen.
The King of glory comes, the nation rejoices. Open the gates before him, lift up your voices. Who is the King of glory? How shall we call him? He is Emmanuel, the promise of ages. The King of glory comes, the nation rejoices. Open the gates before him, lift up your voices. He conquered sin and death, he truly has risen.